Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Small Time Tournament. We are in Game 3 of the quarterfinals between Incoherence, the Red Protoss, and Threnody, the Blue Zerg. I am Nacho Cheese.
And I'm Unctious. And with us, I'm really looking forward to Game 3 of this best of 5. Threnody has really been showing some exemplary Zerg play. I mean, he's playing the way a Zerg should be played, which is he in multiple drops. The Zerg race is meant to be played in such a way that you are swarming your opponent, and that's exactly what we see Threnody doing. Got drops in multiple places all at once, and he's just, so far he's just shown an outstanding performance. And Incoherence, I mean, the real question is Incoherence going to be able to take back these next 3 games for a reverse sweep to take this best of 5 away from Threnody?
It is going to be a tough uphill battle for Incoherence if he can manage it. As you were saying, Unctious, Threnody just showing us absolutely phenomenal Zerg play. Drops everywhere, a very strong Roach Hydra army at the front. When he saw the Stargate play from his opponent last game, he was able to get out a good amount of corruptors and completely shut down everything on that. And now we see some discussion going up from these two players. 2-base Mothership. That sounds like an epic game.
I did not see that one, although I have been viewing Threnody. That must have been wonderful. Now, I want to note a couple things about this map. For one, on the inside side of these bases, there is this huge, little cliff off to the side with grounds that can be accessed by the opposing player, especially with some Blink Stalker play. So if Blink Stalkers come out, they can blink down off of this cliff, run straight over on a very, very short path over to the main of the Zerg player and just blink right up with a little of that higher ground vision. And I hope we see that. Generally, when I play as a Protoss, that's what I strive to do on this map. And I think it would be a very, very good thing to do. But we are seeing an early extractor from our Zerg player.
We're not seeing any spawning pool or hatchery. This is very interesting. I have actually never seen an extractor first build. We are now seeing the spawning pool coming down. He obviously wanted to get that early gas. Whether he wants to use that on an early speedling upgrade or maybe on another tech switch, I don't know. What do you think?
I think, just like you said, that was very, 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 very intended. He immediately put 3 of his drones on that, and I'm not sure what we're going to see. I think he will get speedlings. I feel like that's almost a necessity at the beginning of the game against a Protoss player, but from there, who knows? Perhaps something a little cheesy. I don't know what to say. But this Overlord is getting a very nice view of the Protoss base, going to be able to see that everything that's going on. Got that gateway and cybernetics core. But going back to, speedlings coming up immediately, and he took drones right off the gas. He wanted that speedling upgrade right when that spawning tool came up. So he's got all the gas he needs, and he looks like he's going to be going for a hatchery.
He's able to stop exactly at 100 gas. That's a nice little bit of finesse. And then, as you say, take those drones right off gas, put them right back on minerals where he wants them, so that he can get out more of these Zerglings and do some early pressure, which may be effective against our Protoss player, who has not done a Forge Fast Expand. Now, there are 2 maps that I think you can really get away with the Forge Fast Expand in a PvZ. One of them is Tal'Darim Altar, which we saw last game. That build worked out okay for Incoherence in the beginning, but ended up crippling him later. And the other map I think you can get away with that is Shakura's Plateau here. With this ramp down here, pretty easy to defend with just a couple buildings, and that secures you this natural. This Zergling going to poke up and see that natural has not been taken. He's going to see this little standard wall off here. I'm not sure if he sees those extra gateways go down. He does not. But I'm sure that our Zerg player is breathing a sigh of relief and does not have to deal with an early expanded Protoss. Hopefully he can now contain him, keep him on one base as long as possible, and do exactly what we saw Threnody do in Game 2. Get up a couple bases. Why not have 5 bases against your Protoss opponent and just completely out-macro him?
It's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that he will still be expanding pretty soon. The 3-gate expand really starts out like this. Both gases are up. You follow up your initial zealot with sentries, and right when Warp Gate finishes, you should have just enough to get this expansion. It looks like what he's going down to do is going to try to scare away that Zergling, or at least lead him back up into the base so that the Zealot can take care of him. And he will be going for that expand. He's got 400 minerals saved up. I've seen In Control do this quite a bit. And what this is usually followed up by is literally just sharking around the map. You'll have your 8 sentries, which will be followed by some stalkers, and they'll just walk around the map, and it really scares a Zerg player. When you have that map control, the Zerg player is never really sure when they can move out, and they're not going to feel comfortable taking a 3rd expansion, especially on this map, because no 3rd expansions are extremely easy to hold here, like you see on Tal'Darim, like we were just on.
We are seeing this probe is out here ready to throw down this expansion, but waiting quite a while, and now not throwing down a Nexus, instead going to be throwing down a Forge. He must have seen this Zergling pressure coming out, as that is exactly what he's preparing for. These sentries going to be able to force field and keep those Zerglings at bay, and now the Nexus is going down. Now that he feels a little bit safer with his Forge going down, starting a little wall, he'll be able to get some cannons to protect that. This Overlord having the time of his life, just being able to scout everything, but those Stalkers coming out are going to ruin his day.
You know, laser tech is on the way. Yeah, you're totally right. They will indeed ruin his day. I wanted to make sure you knew that. But this Forge coming up is well timed because of the fact that 2 evolution chambers just went down. This Forge will be able to keep up with Zerg upgrades, and that's so huge on a map like this, where, like I was saying, you can have that Blink Stalker action right across the map. You definitely want to keep up, because any timings that the Zerg will hit will be extremely devastating to your forces. We do see a Spire going down, so we are going to see some Mutas come up, and, you know, I'm going to say it one more time, because I'm still upset about it, that I have not seen any Baneling play yet this entire match, and I'm going to cry.
Well, hopefully we can get a nice, long macro game out of this, and get some Banelings for you, because I definitely love to see Baneling play when I watch Zerg. Of course, as a Protoss player myself, I like to see when Protoss win, but unfortunately, Incoherence not had the best of luck this time. Threnody has just been showing us vastly superior play, and I expect that will continue. A 3rd base going down for Threnody, continuing his macro advantage. These Zerglings going to be able to poke in here and just verify what's going on. Maybe get a quick sentry count, see, yep, 8 sentries, that's a lot of gas. Probably not going to be able to spend his gas on very much else. And so, again, Zerg player, just like always, got to be feeling very safe right now.
I think what we're going to be seeing coming out of this is a robotics facility probably going down not too far after this. Once that natural gets saturated, you're probably going to want about 5 gates in that robo up so that you can get Colossus to follow up these sentries. Now, you don't want to produce any more sentries because they are so gas expensive, like we were saying. But if those go down, you don't really have a choice. Those sentries are essential to countering this Zerg. Now, our Zerg has secured a 3rd base, and we don't see Incoherence applying any pressure whatsoever. If there was a little pressure, that 3rd base might not have went down, and we have Mutas on the way. And that's going to be extremely scary. All of the units are down at the natural right now. There are no cannons up in the main. These Mutas are going to be able to swing in and just start taking out probes, which they are doing. They're stopping. The Stalkers are on their way. Probes have to get pulled, and they will push away the Muta attack, but I think it was well worth it getting rid of all those mining minerals for quite a while. He's going to try to swing around to the natural, but those sentries are already going to be there to counter.
And those Stalkers may not have been in the best place, but they were definitely in a great position to deny this harassment. These Mutalisks now flying away to explore. I'm guessing just to make sure that there is no hidden 3rd, that the Zerg is, in fact, still in control of this game. We look at the vision of our Protoss player. Not only has he not put any pressure on, but he has not done any scouting since his initial scouting probe. We see that the only buildings he knows about are this main hatchery, the spawning pool, and this first extractor. So he is completely in the dark right now. He must have been relieved to see those Mutalisks come when he had those Stalkers out, because he was in a good position to be able to defend that. Really, he should not have known about that because he has no scouting information at all.
Now, what's interesting to note is that there are spore crawlers up in behind the mineral lines. Ooh, Protoss Force moving out. right down the center of the map. He feels that he is ready to push out, and we're getting a forward pylon to apply continuous pressure.
But at the same time, lots of mutalisks coming in at the main, chasing all those workers away from the main and the natural, completely denying any economy from a Protoss player. And now a huge engagement up at the front, just having to pull back those mutalisks to try and deal with this force, which, despite that harassment, is looking pretty scary.
All these forces are running in force fields are going down from the sentries. This force will be able to break its way into the natural. I'm sorry, but I don't think those units are going to be enough to clean up these stalkers and all these sentries. The zealots are going, harassing that queen, taking it down, and there are no air forces for that spore crawler to be worried about. So all of these forces are going to be moved right in. Drones are being taken offline to try to attack, and Threnody just passed the GG.
And there is the GG. Incoherence able to come back from a 2-game deficit to win this game, and that was actually just an incredible push. He sort of saw those mutalisks. He said, there's not that many mutalisks. I think I could just go freaking kill him. And pushed way across the map, able to take Threnody by surprise, and now we are moving on to Game 4.
And I'm so excited for Game 4 because if our Protoss player can come back and take all of these games, I think it's going to be an impressive show and an impressive show of endurance and the will to continue on despite this amazing macro Zerg player waving his macro in your face, not letting you take any expansion. Like we saw that second game, the Protoss was only on one base by the end of that push, and I'm just really excited to get into it. So I think we're going to go into a break right now, and then we'll be going into Game 4 when we get the map choice. In the meantime, my name is Unctious.
And I am Nacho Cheese, and we will see you guys in a few moments.